with the Triangle Tennis Podcast coming at you. We are going to be doing a little bit of a spring recap. It's not quite over, but we were through the majority of the season, so we'll be talking about some fun matches, who's playing well, any good stories we have around that. And then also we're going to be talking a lot about Wilmington. Probably I'm going to play one tournament this year, and it's going to be
Oh.
Wilmington. That is the
Oh.
yep. I'm only going to play one this year probably, and it is going to be Wilmington, and we're going to tell you why you should play as well.
The Hanauer stamp of approval.
Yep.
Matt,
Yep.
why is Wilmington the one tournament you're going to play in this year? Why is it just that good?
Yeah, it's we tend to get it's fun to take a little road trip with the guys, with the
Yep.
fellas, but it's not so far. We're not traveling so far that it's annoying. It's like sometimes if you make it a deep run in states, I don't want to go to Georgia. I have no interest in going to Georgia. That sounds
Yeah.
awful. Atlanta's
You know,
nice,
the
but
devil went down to Georgia, and we don't want that.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
that's something to
I
think
forgot
about.
about that.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's a nice little trip. You get to go to the beach. Usually in the past, when I've stayed there for other reasons too, you can get a nice little beach house. It's fun to stay if you can in a big house with all the fellas. We had some really fun times.
You wake up
Yeah.
to the sound of waves. You really wake up to the sound of crushing forehands. You go
Ooh,
back to
yeah.
sleep. Yeah, to the sound of bubbling.
Yeah. No, it's great. Y'all go, and the food also is great. I actually didn't even go out to eat once last year. I just ate all the food there. I didn't even have to pay for food because there was
Yeah.
so much food there, beer. The like I've mentioned before, the fastest drying quartz
Yep.
in North Carolina. I've never seen quartz dry that fast in my life.
They run a tight ship over there too,
Yeah.
and so the tournament organizers, they get this little room to this like off the side of the clubhouse, and they just hole up and they just cook. They
Mm.
just make it happen. The only kind of light negative is the app that they used. The first year I did it had some challenges. Last year largely worked, got it done. It is, if you're trying to have a good time, I think it is the premier
Mhm.
tournament in the state, if not the country. It's look, they tap that keg early in the day,
They do.
and a
They
lot
do.
of people are just playing one event.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm deciding whether I want to play one or two. My ego testosterone says you're fine. You're not old. You can play two events. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt the next day. But my brain is no. You can't
I
do it.
I find myself cramping in if I do one singles event for a
Yeah.
tournament. Basically every time I end up the same way with
Yeah.
first my calves and then my torso cramping up. And I feel so dumb every time it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe if I just hydrate a little better, I could do two events. And
Yeah.
I think if you're in your 30s, it is not advisable.
Yeah.
However, all kinds of stuff we do isn't advisable, Matt. This
Yeah.
podcast isn't advisable. And
true.
here we are.
That's true.
Listen to your heart. Definitely turn off your brain when making that decision. Because the brain will be really clear. Nope, don't do that.
Yeah. It's also you play one event. The other thing too is you've got dudes playing all day every day. So
Yeah.
it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
So if you're playing two events, you might not be able to watch as much. So I really enjoy there's East End boys everywhere. So I might just play one so that I can watch everybody else.
There were matches last year where there were more people from the Triangle rooting for a player from the Triangle than there were people from Wilmington
Yeah.
rooting for a local. That really felt like we took over
Yeah.
a little bit. And the results were pretty darn good. I don't know if I think I saw that Mike Wesleyender is signed up, and so I'm guessing that Stewart's going to get in the mix too. I think they're going all the way in 4-0 dubs. They had a pretty darn spectacular run in Charlotte. I think that we're coming home with multiple trophies. Daniel and I are running it back in 4-5 after losing the heartbreak of heartbreaks.
Epic.
I have technically lost 2-3 tiebreaker matches in back-to-back years in Wilmington. One to Daniel, 7-6, 6-7. I believe it was 28-26 in the third.
Okay.
One, and then Daniel and I lost to Spencer and Bailey Clark, 6-7, 7-6, 11-9
Yeah,
or something.
11-9 or
I don't
something.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd love to leave without a heartbreaking loss this year. That being said, if it's between getting my ass kicked and losing a close one, I'll probably take the close one. That's why we play. We want to have good matches. We want to be in the tight ones. It's better to win them, but some great matches gone down in Wilmington. I think Seiko had a pretty darn solid run last year.
Yep.
In either Open or 4-5. The Wilmington Open is pretty wild because
Yeah.
if we're being honest, there are not a ton of 5-0 and higher players in the greater Wilmington area. And for whatever reason, not that many, in my experience, have traveled to the tournament.
Yeah.
So who do you get in the open division? You get the, like, 13-year-old kid who's going to play in college one day, but is still their voice hasn't changed yet or whatever. And that's a really fun dynamic because there is a world in which a person who's 4'9" and 11 is playing Ryan Seiko, and Ryan's gonna win that match. But I really admire like the kids and like how good they are and the guts that it takes to play against adults. That being said, if I was a coach, I don't know I'd put them in that position because they definitely they got a lot going on when you're that age. They get a little frustrated sometimes out there, as we all did, I think.
I don't know. That takes a lot of guts, like you said, to play. You played some youngster. Did you play some youngsters last year?
Yeah, we played a kid who was a high school senior and a kid who was a rising freshman, and they were probably better at tennis than Daniel and I, but those brains are not fully cooked, so we cooked them.
I remember that.
It's like, look, all of us made dumb decisions when we were teenagers, and so all you have to do, and this is, I think, a tennis tip that's pretty universal. If you're playing somebody who's a teenager and better at tennis than you, just create the set of conditions for them to do something dumb, and they probably will.
Yeah.
Just lob it, a lot of lobs, a lot of junk. They'll take care of it. And also, they're used to playing people who are like actually good, that hit that beautiful, like perfect topspin arc ball, and they're not used to seeing just nonsense on the tennis court the way that we are.
Yeah, they won't. They haven't seen any of the slices, the drop shots, the dinks, the lobs. They don't see those. Yeah.
Did you say the dinks?
Oh my God, I did. I just had a Freudian pickleball slip.
Wow, Matt, pickle's it's deep in you. It's in your core, man. Wow. Wow. How does that feel?
So I played a pickleball tournament, and they mushed together the 4-0, 4-5, and 5-0
in one division. For
in
pickleball?
one division. And so
Very serious sport.
So
like.
I assume the way I thought about it is there's usually less 4-5s and 5-0. So I'm like, okay, there was probably a 5-0 team or a 4-5 team, and they didn't have enough, so they smushed them together. So I'm like, we're gonna get crushed a few times, and then it'll be fine. Nope, everyone was a 5-0. They were all former college tennis players or 5-0 tennis players. We got absolutely annihilated. Annihilated.
That's okay. That's fun to test yourself against that next level. But
it wasn't enjoyable. Okay. It was really bad.
Hey, speaking of this kind of random thing, I was on the Facebook the other day to make a big announcement.
Wow, the Facebook.
The announcement was Sarah, Dr. Sarah Cunningham, my beautiful, wonderful wife, is with child.
Oh, wow.
And we shared that with the world. But so when I was on, like, I don't get on very often, and I just scrolled aimlessly for a few minutes. A guy that I went to, like, middle school with, and we haven't kept in touch, but we're friendly at the time. He got his first professional pickleball tour points.
Wow.
And he was a good athlete, but I was like, oh, wow. I didn't know that was just the kind of thing that you could do in your early and mid-30s. And kudos. I don't think that he's a listener, but shout out to Chris. Hey, congrats on getting those points, man. That's great. But I don't want to take away from the big announcement.
Yeah,
having a kid.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not having a kid. I'm doing very little at present other than trying to be a good and supportive husband. Sarah is, as women unfortunately are birthing persons have to do, is doing all the work. I'm just like picking up food from time to time. Yeah. It's crazy. Pregnancy's nuts.
That sounds like a lot. Are you guys ready? You got the house ready?
No, we're due in October, so we've got time.
Oh, you've got time.
We're like, when we bought the house, it came childproof, and we were just like, let's just leave it that way. And now I'm glad that we did. But we have to like move my office from one room to another because the nursery makes more sense where my office currently is, and like a couple other little things like that. We have to assemble 1 million items of stuff from IKEA, which again, Sarah's the handy one. I'm the one who like holds the wrench and goes, "You're doing great."
That's me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Modern men, look at us.
Yes.
That's real Sigma stuff, I believe, as they say in the culture. I learned that recently. It's not alpha anymore. It's Sigma.
Oh, it's Sigma?
Yeah. Oh. Because Sigma is you're so alpha that you don't even think about that kind of thing. And that's Sigma, is the way it was explained to me by the parent of a middle schooler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where I learned this stuff now, is not from actually the culture. It's from the parent of somebody with a kid. Yeah.
I think my sister's kids need to get a little bit older before I can ask her. They're like 5 and 4, so I don't know. I don't think they're
Oh, I
quite up.
gotta
Yeah.
hear. We need like a episodic slang update from the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
What are the youth saying? Give us like the wisdom of the next generation.
She's still figuring out. So her grandma speaks Spanish, so she's still figuring
Yeah,
out the difference between English and Spanish. So she just speaks her own language right now.
amazing, amazing. Sorry, we're gonna
We're
go down
way
the
off
rabbit hole a
top.
little bit.
Yeah.
So Wilmington, great tournament. You guys should do it. But on the topic of mixing, like bilingual people mixing languages, there's this Irish rap group, and I'm just gonna plug them right now, called Kneecap, that I've been listening to.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't know whether they're rapping in Irish or English. Like it's indecipherable regardless of the language. But they're talented youngsters, and I very much have been enjoying them. Kneecap,
Kneecap.
check them out. It'll
When
just
w-
it,
when I listen to Kneecap, is this like a pre-match? Is
yes,
this like a
yes,
post? This is a pre-match.
yes.
That's what it felt like. The name
Yeah.
Kneecap seems
If
like
you're
something.
passively familiar with the history of Ireland, I think it's safe to say there are some things that justifiably people are upset about still, and that anger it bleeds over into their music, and so it'll just be indecipherable mix of English and Irish, and then gin and tonic, and then like back to some combination of those languages.
Yeah.
They're funny, they're sharp. It does make me realize how captured American music and the American recording industry is by corporate interests, because this is the type of lyrical content that simply would not perform here. Like, it's far too political in nature and controversial in nature. They have a song called Get Your Brits Out, which is a portmanteau of the phrase get your tits out and
Oh.
Brits go home. And the cover of that single is a cartoon of a Queen Elizabeth that is not very nice or appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's some humor, there's some politics, but definitely if you're trying to get in the zone before a match, I find them to be excellent.
I'll have to try that. I do, as I've had trips longer, playing USTA, more matches, and then I have longer trips out to wherever I'm going, Raleigh, Cary. I
Yeah.
do, if anyone has any recommendations or pre-match playlists, I'll have 30, 35-minute drives, and I'd like to have some pump-up music.
Here's an all-world transition coming. And so, Matt, what music will you be listening to on the car ride to and from Wilmington?
You know what? I actually may not be listening to. Hopefully, I am driving a few buds, and we're having
Oh.
enjoyable conversations.
That's
So,
fantastic.
that's actually
Yes.
one of the things I do love about around
Yeah.
long road trips. You bring a few buds, and you're trapped in there for 3 hours, so you learn
Yep.
a ton about your buds that you never would have known.
You do. So I also I read, haven't fact checked this. Fact check it if you care about that kind of thing. That men oftentimes have more in-depth and meaningful conversations in cars than anywhere else because they're all facing forward, so they don't
Yeah.
have to look at each other, reacting
Oh my
to like,
gosh.
hearing emotions and feelings. And
Yeah.
so thus, those are oftentimes the most productive places to have a conversation
Yeah.
about your feelings for men.
I have had tons of great conversations. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I also, like, the last time I had one, I had Mike Westlander was in the car with me, and he was working a little bit, and I saw he was working on something that I don't do, but at my work, the people who were doing the stuff that he was doing were not doing their jobs. So I was like, Mike, what is it that you're doing? And explain it to me so I can get them to do it. So I trapped him in there and made him explain React to me for an hour, which
Oh,
is a
wow.
programming language. Yeah.
Yes, if you play in the Wilmington tournament and you carpool, you will leave not just a better tennis player,
Yeah.
quite possibly a better person or a better man. So
Yeah.
maybe better profession. Maybe there's professional skills to be gained.
I did. I learned a lot.
Only way to find out is by signing up and doing it. So the fella who's burst onto my radar the last 2.5 weeks, Evan Wharton, he beat me in 3 in Charlotte, and then the next league match that I had, we played on a Saturday, league match on a Tuesday. Him and his partner beat Stuart and I in doubles, and he's just a really good player. And I wish that he was a jerk, so I could have had that edge going in, but he's just the nicest guy. He's like funny, easy to chat with on the sideline, but not in a way that like takes you out of your game. Just like a quintessential good tennis player, enjoyable to play against, even when he's beating you. He is signed up for Wilmington. I would like another crack at Evan. I don't think that I can actually beat him, but when we get to Wilmington, if I see him in the draw, I'm going to lie to myself aggressively. You got this, dude. As I like to do going into tournament matches.
Funny story. I played him last night.
Just get out of town.
and we
Give us the scoop.
almost fucking won. We had a match point.
Oh.
It was me and Alexi.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a match point. It was me and Alexi. We took the first set and a tie break. God, that forehand.
Yeah.
They didn't know what hit them. They were just like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Like just when he smashed that, he had 5 or 6 of them that they just barely touched.
When Alexi's firing with that forehand,
Yeah.
he's lights out.
Yeah. So he was on. I was returning well, serving. I did get broke. I got broke. We were up 6-5. I got broke, and then we were down, I think, in the tie break, and the lobs were working well because the lights are good.
Was this
At
clay
Chapel
or hard
Tennis Club,
courts?
this is clay,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
we're on with the new lights. So the lights are good, you can see, but they're not super tall. So if you can get that lob above the lights and then it comes down,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a tricky overhead. So we were throwing those. I was throwing those up, and we got a couple of points, and then we got annihilated the second set 6-0. Just lost focus.
Wow.
They were pretty pissed, and then we lost focus.
Yeah.
And then we got down like 4-0 in the tiebreak. There's that tiebreak. We're like, fuck. And then we just kept chipping away and got it to, I think we were up 9-8. And I didn't hit a bad return. I shanked it a little bit, but it was Patrick Newsome and Evan. And Patrick made a great play. Like, it wasn't an easy play. He had a backhand on the move, winner volley.
And great tandem and a great result against two very good players.
Oh, yeah. We had our shot. And, we lost 9-11.
Yeah.
But it was a good battle.
Man, I look forward to playing Evan again, and I'd imagine that you do as well, because he and you stylistically are very different, but you have a shared strength, which is you just don't really make bad choices on a tennis court.
Yeah.
And that's such a riddle to be solved as somebody like me who very much does make bad choices regularly as part of my game on a tennis court. Yeah, any chance you recorded that?
No, I should have. It was we had some really good points. One thing I remember screaming at myself, it was in the tie break. Evan likes to hit drop shots, and like I was reading those pretty well, but I missed one in the tie break. He hit a little drop shot, and I just slammed the fence, and I was like, he hits fucking drop shots every time. Why are you not running? Just like screaming at myself.
This is a good segue to, hey, let's talk a little bit more about the spring season. Just a quick humble brag, maybe just a full-on brag. I'm down 25 pounds since the return from Argentina, and I regret to inform you and our listeners, I can feel the difference, and I just hate that. It sucks. It's like I'm moving better. I have a little bit more rally tolerance than I did at the start of the season, and I'm like not eating a bunch of stuff that I'd like to eat. It's a terrible. It's just I don't know that it's actually worth it, but from a tennis perspective, it's not a question, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. See, I haven't made that commitment to food, so I have been running more. I've been training more, but I refuse to give up my donuts. I'm not. That's just where I draw the line. I'm getting lessons. Like, I will do everything other than change my diet.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
And I support that. And as somebody in the midst of a dietary change, I hate it. I'll be out and I'll be eating something and I'll be so angry. I'd really like to eat more of this right now.
Yeah.
Ugh. Why am I doing this to myself? And I'll tell you why, Matt. Because our 5-0 team is frisky. Our 5-0 team, Team Hanauer Llewellyn, or Team Hanauer, no one wants to play
Team
us.
Hanauer Llewellyn,
No one wants to play Team Hanauer Llewellyn.
Yeah.
Because there have been enough close matches now. There have been enough line wins where these guys really aren't supposed to win, but it's tennis and sometimes wacky things happen.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with the 5-0 Durham season? What's jumped out to you? What are you seeing out there? All that good stuff.
It's been fun. It's been great to get out there. It's been a little more up and down for me. I know you've probably had some better matches. I had a rough start, and then Adam and I had a great match against some Chapel Tennis Club guys, great guys. The way you belong at 5-0 is when they are launching balls out of the court. So that's when you're like, okay, I belong here.
That's when you've arrived, yes.
Yeah, that's when I may not win,
Yep.
but I belong here. So that was great. I loved playing with Adam. That was really fun.
Wait, is that a double lefty lineup?
Oh, yeah, he's left-handed too. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's not just a double lefty. It's a double Hoosier, double Fort Wayne. Like, he's literally from the same town that I'm from, and not just a Hoosier.
Have officially cornered the market on Fort Wayne area 4-5 triangle lefties.
Lefties, I think we have.
It's
ours. It's ours.
Put that on a T-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. We both brought out our IU gear, so it was really fun. And it's nice I got to meet some of the 5-0 Chapel Hill Tennis Club guys, got some digits after, so it was great.
Oh, yeah. Getting me working that recruiting in the offseason.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, look, everybody on that team, God, last year, we had a couple matches that were like, oh, that was Spencer and I against Andres, for example.
Yeah.
Like, pleasant surprises. But more often than not, it was just getting worked.
2 and 3, yeah.
For you, maybe I was thrilled getting 1 and 2s, one and 2, which happened to me, I think, twice because it was better than the 2 double bagels or the double bagel and the 0-1 that I took. But this year, it seems like you're not seeing as many of those double bagels. You're not we're just not getting demolished. There's definitely a gap between, I think, where the team is as a whole and where those top teams are. But it's been really cool to see the progress year over year. And in all seriousness, I think if everybody stays on a similar-ish trajectory, next year I think we could be, dare I say, middle of the pack.
Maybe.
With the recruiter too, Matt.
Yeah, a couple of recruits. Not playing Andres in singles helps. I think that's our only double bagel right now is me against Andres.
We need Andres to become a parent. That's the real secret to success. Because that's the thing, right? It's like there are guys who are really good 4-5s, lower mid-tier, mid-level 5-0s. And you can steal a couple games.
Exactly. Yeah, we can hang in there with those guys.
But
Andres is another level.
There's Andres and Loic. I have hit against both of them, and I feel, I don't belong on the court with this person.
Yeah.
They are a fundamentally different level of athlete and tennis player than I am, and I am wasting their time being across from them, right? And I appreciate them being nice about it.
You belong on the court if you're giving them money. That's the only way I belong on the court with them. If I'm paying for their time. Yeah.
It's outrageous that I've been on the court with Andres for free.
That's the way I saw it. That's the way I saw it. Is hey, this would have cost me. It was an hour and a half, so maybe $100 or whatever, something like that. I just got $100 free.
Oh yeah. So in 4-5, it's been an interesting season. I think I think we're in the same flight, yes? Yes, we are in the same flight. Neither of our teams got it done. Team Ezra, we were close.
Yeah.
We lost a tough one against Newsom. Stewart and I lost our match, lost a team match 3-2. And I feel like we are so darn close. I do. And look, tennis record reflects this. Like their team, their top 8 have a slightly higher rating.
They're good.
Their team level slightly higher. But I got to tell you, so many of the guys on the team are on the ascent. They're getting better year after year that I really hope that we can keep that team together and give it another go because Ezra was just like awesome captain. The guys, good crew. Tyler Carroll's, he's giving out beef jerky like beef jerky Santa.
Yeah.
And we were really close. But alas, Matt, my not going to states streak continues to now, I think, 15 or 16 seasons.
Oh, wow.
So I'm basically – it's crazy that you put me on 2 teams this summer because I'm bad luck, clearly.
I really feel pretty good about – although I will say I was looking at Berliner's team this morning. He's got some good players. I think he's got Tyler and Ezra, got John Hankinson.
Ooh, that is a good trio. Okay.
Jackson Neftal, and then I'll probably get his brother Herman.
Yeah.
So it is not a cakewalk. Ryan has put together a good squad. So it is. I still think we've got a better shot, but we're gonna have to. Yeah. We're gonna have to come out and play every day.
And this is in tri-level, summer tri-level, which is the first time I think they've done that here. So how many teams are there in summer tri-level, Matt?
So there's different tri-levels. So there is 3. So I think it goes down to 3-0. Yeah, I played in 3-0 to 4-0 one time. So you'll do 3-0 to 4-0, and then there's 3-5 to 4-5, and then this year we're gonna do 4-0 to 5-0 as well.
Yeah. And so how many are there in our flight of tri-level?
For the 4-0 to 5-0, it's just us and Ryan Berliner's team.
How many matches are we going to get for that?
I would assume 6.
I love that. That's like a playoff series.
Yeah,
basketball.
Yeah.
Just thinking out loud here, any world in which they give us an odd number of matches would make life easier.
Oh, I hope they do. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to do a couple quick shout-outs about the spring season.
Yeah.
Team Bible in 4-0. A team that I think many of us, I think that we predicted was going to go all the way.
Probably.
Don't fact check that. Let's just assume that's true. Take our word for it. Yeah. In a very close one, they're going to states. It's a big moment for the boys, for the East End Boys comic universe, for Captain Stewart. That's just it's a great crew, great run of results. And I think that, Matt, a few of us, and would love to get you in the mix here, are going to help them get some practice sessions before states and give them some
Sure.
run.
That sounds great. Yeah, so I don't think you made it out to the match. I made it out for the first 30 minutes. There
Yeah.
was at least 20 guys there supporting Bible's team.
I was out of town, but
Yeah.
Michael Young and I were texting, and we concurred that we cared far more about the results of that rec level tennis match of a team that we are not on than we have about any pro sports match in years.
Oh,
Because look, all of those guys are putting in the work. Many of them are guys that we hit with regularly and have gotten to know and have become friends off the court. And yeah, I'm just finding generally USTA I care about more than pro sports at this point.
it was great. And then it was also great. They had a good mix of, so they had Chris Giordano and then Alexi on their team. And I was talking with Chris the other day, and he was just like, man, it's just been a blast hitting with you guys. And he was just loving it. I know Alexi was loving it. They were just loving playing with us, having a good time. So everyone, like I said, I was sad I had to leave. I had to go play tennis. I didn't want to play tennis.
Wow.
I wanted to stay and hang out because they were just everyone was there. It was great.
Chris Giordano is like the Energizer Bunny. That
Oh
dude,
my
gosh. Dude brings electricity
Unbelievable.
everywhere he goes, and I think every team benefits from having somebody with that kind of energy on it because everybody, they can feed off that a little bit. And so, a classic glue guy of sorts.
I had a very fun doubles match with him. We lost to Jackson and a good youngster. I think his name was Jason.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that energy. We had a really fun time. I really enjoyed.
So I'm
going
to make this
them.
prediction right now. This team is going to, at minimum, sectionals. I think they're going to nationals. I think, look, the triangle area 4-0 teams, there are many good teams that come out of the triangle.
Yeah.
But men's 4-0 in particular seems to be strong every single year.
I agree.
And I think, look, there's just a lot of really good players in the triangle. And there's an influx of kids from UNC and Duke, NC State. There's folks moving from all across the country that have a tennis background. It seems like the big industries of tech and academia
Healthcare.
And medicine, there are a lot of tennis players that come from those communities. And so we've got the talent. I think that Team Bible has what it takes.
I think so, too. Georgia's always tough. I think they might end up losing to Georgia just because Georgia has some weird rules.
Yeah.
And they're able to get more players and
21 players, I think, on the rosters there, which is crazy.
So I think they can definitely do it. I'm not going to predict a nationals run, but Georgia's always tough. If they can get past Georgia, then I think, honestly, if they can get past sectionals, they probably had a good shot at nationals just because Georgia wins all the time and they're in our sectional.
Yeah. And look, I'll say it, like they beat Team Bird. Team Bird has had the talent to go to sectionals, to go to nationals. And look, you get a tough league, it prepares you for that next level, right? And I think so. I think that they've had the in-league experience. They've got the talent. They've gotten some big wins over some really tough teams that are well put together and have guys that are on that bubble between 4-0 and 4-5 throughout the roster. They can get it done.
You know what they do have? They have
Moxie.
They have that. Yeah, I was going to say, I think they have pretty good availability. Ooh. A lot of those guys have, I think Stewart is a partner at his company. Giordano is the CEO, so he can just be like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Sorry, guys.
You can declare a holiday for 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
2-week tennis holiday.
Everybody's off of work,
Our investors are going to be pissed, but I'll handle it.
Yeah, I think they have great availability, and so we'll see.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, I cannot wait to get on the court with those guys and to see how they do at states and potentially beyond. At 4-5, the results are not yet known because this is the first year that there's a playoff. The flights were divided into weekend and weeknight, and so I believe it'll be Team Newsom taking on Team Bird in the playoff. It's a shame that it's the same weekend as the Hollow Rock tournament because there's a bunch of players on both teams that I'd love to see play Hollow Rock. Would love to get a crack at, and I'm sure would love to get the points or just play the local tournament. I think that league just takes precedence in those situations, so maybe guys will do doubles and see if they – because I don't think they've set the time yet for the Sunday matchup between the two of them.
I don't think so.
There's a world in which they can do both, but realistically, if you make a good run at Hollow Rock and say double, and then you get that match that morning or afternoon – you're going to have to default. Or you don't have to, but in all likelihood, that's the right choice because you owe the team over the individual performance in tournaments.
Exactly, yeah. But
That's
no,
gonna be a good one. Team Newsom, man, they were tough. They
Yeah.
got Evan, drop shot king, softest hands on.
Yeah.
Maybe the softest hands at 4-5 right now. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone with softer hands. Yeah.
They've got McClenny. I played Richard
I
McClenny for the
know.
first time. So in warm-ups, I'm watching his serve. I'm like, okay, it's got some slice, a little bite to it, decent pace, but it's not Ryan Seiko speed. And I was thinking, oh, great, I'm gonna be able to time this, and by the late in the first set, early in the second, I'll be able to maybe attack this serve. Stupid, wrong. Could not have been more wrong in that assessment pre-match because he places it and he's got so much slice and bite on it, and it stays so low. I don't think I hit an offensive return against his serve the entire match.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, his overhead game he can take it from anywhere in the court, and he moves vertically very well. Now I think keep an eye when he's in the lineup. The dude can play.
Yeah. And they have Will Gray, who we have for our tri-level team.
Yep.
He is 4-5, really good. Also a really nice guy. Funny story about him last night. He's walking around, he's got his sweatshirt on. So this will be you in not October, maybe in a couple months after.
Yeah.
He's got a Paw Patrol sticker on his sweatshirt, and he has no fucking idea. He has no idea that he has a little Paw Patrol sticker.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. They have another Will on that team too, Will Boyette.
Oh,
the
yeah,
transplant from Wilmington, and man,
Yeah.
he's got one of the biggest kick serves that I've seen so far. He's a complete player. Good hands to the net, can hurt you off both wings, doesn't miss very much. I think that he, like a lot of young guys who seem to have played continuously, I didn't see him throwing a ton of junk out. He just has a really clean, classic, high-level 4-5 tennis game. And by the numbers, he's one of the closest to getting bumped 4-5s. I think he's like right under the bump mark. So he'll probably be back for another year. But they've got high-end talent on that team. And then their singles guys are just nasty. Is it Hankinson, I think?
Yes, they have Hankinson. Will's really good at singles, and then Richard Pop. I can never pronounce his last name.
Yeah, and I think Richard was at 5-0 for a bit.
He's a 4-5A.
Yeah. And then Hankinson, he played like a 2.5-hour match against Kelvin where he won, I think, 3-3 or something.
Yeah.
And watching some of that match, you see why. It's the guy just all he hits is topspin with depth, with good pace, and he doesn't miss. And he is comfortable and he's in great shape. Watching his feet is like close-ish to Andres level footwork. Just stays in the pocket and will just run and work you side to side and grind you into dust. I both very much want to play him and also never want to play him because I know I'm going to feel like I'm dying at the end of the match.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to our boy Adam. He took him down. He took him down the other day.
The Yagster.
He took him down.
Get yagged, as they say.
Get yagged.
I feel like there's a couple names that some version that works with. So Get Yagged is one. Get Parved is my other that I like to say.
Yeah.
There's a few other names like that maybe. Get Hanauered.
That's not bad. Yours doesn't
Get
work.
Chikowski does not work.
That's
Get
not work.
Get Zacked. It
That's
feels
not
too
bad.
aggressive. It's the act.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah.
Get Zacked. I don't know. It's too much. It's too much. Get Parved, Get Yagged, absolutely work.
Those are
that is a big win. He's got the game framework to go up to 5-0. And I think, tell me if this is your observation. For the guys at 4-5 that they really want to go to the next level, it seems like you have to first get in pretty darn close to elite shape, which check for Adam.
Check.
And because you cannot get away with bad footwork at that level.
No.
Especially in singles. And then you have to not have a true weakness. Like I think at 4-0, basically everybody has a weakness. And in some cases, that means they just don't have any weapons. Sometimes it means they've got a backhand that's falling apart, weak second serve, too many double faults. 4-5, the floor for weaknesses is much higher from what I've seen this year. And at 5-0, basically everybody has a close to complete game, and then they have a weapon. And then it's just it's tactics. It's tactics and fitness at that point. And I think Adam's got the framework to go there, just like Hankinson does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hope they stay at 4-5 so we can get them on some more teams, but we'll see. I'll try and bring them down when I play with them and keep those losses coming.
Pretty good season for the East End Boys comic universe and the bulk of the Triangle Tennis Podcast listenership, I'd say.
Yeah, and I know Carrie, I think Ryan Seiko's team has a good. They have to get through us. They have to get through Max's team.
Oh,
To get
interesting.
it. But I think who was I talking to? I think Ezra was telling. And again, don't fact check it.
Yeah.
Ezra was saying that I think if they sweep us, they might win the league. So
Oh,
we're
wow.
not gonna make it easy for them. But
Don't.
yeah. So
Team
it should be fun.
Team Pozangara, Evans' team in
Yeah.
Cary at 4-0, I think had a very nice season. And so much of spring tennis is can you keep a team together? And are there guys that are going to get bumped? Are there guys that
Yeah.
are going to have a kid? Are there
Injuries.
injuries? Are people going to get recruited to a different team? It's really tough, those teams that have finished top half of the league, to keep together. Because there's the allure of, I could just join the team that is probably going to win. There's also the allure of, hey, I could join a team that's not really going for it, get a couple more matches of singles. And hopefully folks will be able to keep their teams together. I think it's fun to have that continuity of year over year, having a similar group of guys on a team, because you make buds in the process, right? It's not just about W's and L's. It's about the friends we make along the way, as they say.
See, I like I like a couple of teams that I play with buds. I also like new
Yeah.
teams because then I get
Yeah.
to make new. I get to make new buds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, you play enough leagues that you can do both.
That's true.
You can do
You're
all
right.
the
Yeah,
above.
yeah, I can. I have teams where I have
Yeah.
just straight buds. I have teams that are a bunch of like my tri-level team,
Yeah.
the 3-5 to 4-5. It's a bunch. It's all guys I know, but it's just a bunch of guys who needed a team, and so
Yeah.
it'll be fun. It'll be guys I may not play with all the time, or so I'm excited.
I want to shift gears for a moment to give a quick Enocta update,
Oh,
because we're
yes,
working on
very
some
important.
stuff, right?
Very important. Yeah.
So we are as the city of Durham, we are at capacity with the public courts. There is not room for more public court teams because there is now a scheduling problem. They're getting that much use, right? And so Skeet Surrency is doing an amazing job trying to keep up an advocacy campaign to allocate more funding to either resurface the courts that are in disrepair or get new courts built. And certainly anyone who's looking to be helpful in that effort in Durham, please reach out to Skeet. It's awesome seeing what he's doing over there. And I know that within Enocta, a thing that we're working on, there are some high school courts that do not get use on nights and weekends. And so there's an effort to work something out where maybe Enocta or USTA or somebody will pay to fix their lights in the instances they're broken, and then pay a fee to use those to create more court time. It is a challenge to get those kind of partnerships with public schools because you have to, of course, prioritize safety of the students and students getting access before adults that don't go to those schools. And like that is something that's very much in the works. And then lastly, there's a bunch of money going into renovating a couple parks. The plans are not fully finalized yet. And this is something I think that Skeet will be leading the charge on, and certainly I'm going to do my best to help. Just saying, hey guys, like East End needs more than 4 courts. They're full every Saturday. Coaches are using them. You can't have a league match there. Throw in 2 more courts. You can have 2 summer singles matches, 2 tri-level matches at the same time. There's so much that can be done if they just add in a couple itty-bitty little courts there, and they've got the space to do it. And also, realistically, there's lead in the soil. You put a nice hard court on top of it, and guess what? There's no lead. There is. It's just under the hard court. And so in some ways, it's much, much safer when you put the tennis courts on top of it. And definitely don't fact check that. Just trust it. You can take that to the bank.
Yeah. So just put concrete over every space that's lead, and then you're good.
Yes. Total confidence, yes. Many people – I actually just heard it said, Matt.
Yeah.
That's the case. Yeah. Have you heard that at all?
I did. I heard.
Oh, interesting. I heard it too.
A doctor said that actually a second ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow! You're hearing reports. That's great. Yeah. Listen, man. Anything else? Any players in particular you want to highlight from who had a good spring season? Folks to keep an eye on.
Parv and Tyler at 5-0 doubles have been insane. I know they lost one the other day, but it was in 3 sets, and then they beat Team Birds to get us our first victory, which is pretty great. And they had a great match. Tyler I haven't played him in a long time because I've been hurt, but him and Parv both just effortlessly, the way they just hit winners by people it just doesn't. I know they're trying, but they're just not looking like they're putting in a lot of effort, and it hurts someone like me who is like literally on their knees half the matches. It just hurts to see that.
So I started hitting with Parv a couple years ago, and he was good then, and he has gotten a lot better since then.
Yeah.
I'm like scared to get on a court with him because he looks so dominant every time I
Yeah.
look over. The low toss on the serve, but he just cranks it with mean lefty slice and a ton of pace. The forehand is like the Terminator. And so, yeah, Parv is definitely one that he's always been good. He seems to have made the jump. And Tyler, too, man. I think that Ryan Seiko famously does two first serves. I don't think as many people realize that
Tyler,
does essentially
he
the
does that
same
too.
thing. And he doesn't double fault very much. And so you just don't get a single easy look against his serve. And then he can take it on the rise, and he can put it with good pace, keep it low, and it just really cuts through the court. So both good shout-outs. At 4-0, I want to just give a quick shout-out to Mike Westlander.
Yeah.
You can tell when guys are taking lessons and putting in the work outside of matches, and he certainly is. I think about the growth of his game since we started hitting a few years ago. I think about how complete it's become, and I think about how silly it is that him and Stewart are somehow 4-0s.
Yeah.
Both I would put in absolute bet your bottom dollar bump lock category. And I'm biased. Stewart's obviously my oftentimes doubles partner, so always got to shout out Stewart. But Mike is really taking his game to the next level, and I think he's got the results to show it this spring. The whole team, all team Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, everyone's
Team
been
DeBlay.
playing great. Yeah, I got a chance to play with Billy for the first time in a couple years, so that was really fun. We got the W. It took us 3 sets, but we got the W.
Billy's kick serve.
Yeah.
It's up there. That's up there, too. Will Boyette, I think, is probably the number one kicker for me, and Billy is a close second at 4-5.
Yeah,
Is there anybody else with a mean kick like that?
Not at 4-5. I'm sure there's some people at 5-0, but
They don't count. They're not even
exactly.
real people. They're like
Yeah.
they're superstar athlete. Yeah. Billy also has the high slot in the kick. And if you're 5'10", wink wink, like you and I, Matt, the ball is not just over your head. You're like on your tiptoes and jumping to get to it half the time, even when you are well positioned, and that's tricky.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up today?
Sign up for Wilmington. It'll be a good time. I think that's about it, though.
Get in the mix. And also, it is like a charity tournament raising money for cancer research and awareness. And I think sometimes we will joke, yeah, we're smashing cancer and be a little silly with it, but it's for a legit good cause. If you're looking for an excuse, if you're on the fence, just say no. Say no to cancer. Be anti-cancer.
Yep.
Matt has the courage to be anti-cancer. Do you?
I am.
Yeah, unequivocally. And on that, as always, thanks for listening. I think we're going to try and promote this a little bit harder as we're getting back into our rhythm for Season 2 of TTP. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you next time. Boop, boop.